And good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing on this fine, cold Tuesday morning? It is a brisk 42 degrees here in North Georgia, here by the banks of the very cold Southern Fraud River. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Any updates on Robert, other than he was going to bed and just recover? Jake, that's the update. I doubt that I will talk to him this morning. He said he would talk to me sometime today. For those that may be in here and not know what we're talking about, is my co-host on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and a Thursday night Cornbread Nation show. Robert was bad sick yesterday, but that's the update as I have it. I think he'll be fine. He just got to ride the storm out. That's REO Speedwagon would sing. Who, by the way, just hung it up. REO Speedwagon. There were disagreements on who they had to all agree about going forward. I think there's a final show for a fundraiser, and he did have to go to the ER, but he was on his way home to rest and recover. The R&Rs, rest and recover. And so he just got so sick, he got dehydrated. And so I'm sure they pumped some fluids in and gave him some anti-nausea medicine and said, go home, get in a bed. So, Rob's probably pretty sick if he's going to the hospital. So recovery. It's a bad virus. By the way, late last night on our social stream on X, saw some lady who was asking prayer for her daughter, a minor who was in the ER and was bad sick with a virus. There is a bad virus going around. Thank you, Jay. He'll appreciate that you wished him well. There's a bad virus going around. It's that time of year, I guess, but this one seems to be a butt kicker. Not that viruses are not butt kickers, but this is a real butt kicker. This is one that kicks you down. And I've heard of a couple other people that's talked about a bad virus around the nation. So there's definitely some stuff going on with that. So I appreciate you asking. Stay safe over there in the great state of Mississippi, my friend. And we will try to do the same. So it's Tuesday, and Rob does not join me on Tuesday. Not that he's not welcome, but it's not a broadcast day. Tuesday is not a broadcast day for Rob, especially this Tuesday. So usually it's just me, Dave in the AM, and we will be broadcasting tonight as well. I don't know the exact time frames yet because I've got to finish up a couple of things. How you doing there, First Ezra 5 or 1 Ezra 5, or how if I didn't say that right? And how you doing? Hope you're well out there on the Twitch world, and take care of yourself. Hope you're doing well. Yes, Jake, thank you for mentioning that the show is sponsored by Patriot Mobile. You just see over my head, and use that promo code cornbread, and you will save money, and you'll be a part of a great company. Like, I don't say that about many, but I'll say that about them. And the collection of companies in Mammoth Nation are one of our other affiliates. I got to get the highlights back up for some of those companies. Haven't done that in a bit, and I promise I will endeavor to have those ready by tomorrow. We used to highlight affiliate or companies of the week through Mammoth Nation, where you get extra savings, become a monthly subscriber, or, as in my case, they run a special for lifetime membership last year, and I went ahead and did it. So you can do the lifetime. Normal price is $250. You're done for life. You can just go in there and start shopping, and you go through their portal. You're going to get extra savings. That could be anywhere from 10 to 35%. I've seen it all. So, but they ran a special last year, and I'm sure they'll run something like this again. You never know. When, probably around the holidays. I got it for $125. For $125, I'm a lifetime member of Mammoth Nation. So as long as I'm living, and I pray I live a long life, I'll be a member of Mammoth Nation. Rob is a monthly supporter. You can do it for as little as $5. $5. Thank you, Jake. Yes, you can buy some coffee. The QR code is on the screen. Another way of support.
And there's also Podbean, which is an affiliate of ours, and Dubby Energy Drinks, which I have this morning. I've got a little Dubby in my water bottle. No shakes, no crashes, no sugar. Yeah, kind of like the old sign: no shirt, no shoes, no service. Except in this case, it's no shakes, no crash, and no sugar added. And also, you get a fourth. It's supposed to help your mental acuity. Mental acuity. Yeah, I need that. But yeah, good morning. Well, birthdays this morning. You know, C.D. Lamb's birthday's today, the wide receiver that played at Oklahoma. I think that was Oklahoma State. I think it was Oklahoma. If I'm wrong, get on to me. I know it's out Oklahoma way. Of course, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboy Cook, where you at this morning? The Dallas Cowboys. He is a grand total of 25 years old. Wow. He's I'm more than double his age. Old to be young. So 25. It's funny now when you look at birthdays. There's all these social media stars, and I don't know them. Like this old guy, I'm all over social media, but I don't know who they are. But hey, I know Julian Lennon. He's 61 years old today. Julian Lennon, the somewhat forgotten son of John Lennon, not by people who are fans. He's had a decent career for himself. He had the one big hit, which I really liked that song. I'm trying to think of the name of it. He had a handful. Of course, Sean Lennon was the other son of Joachim and Yoko, but John's was what was his mom's name? Cynthia Lennon, if I remember right. So anyway, that's a couple of the birthdays this morning on this April the 8th. And so good morning to the other. Happy birthday. I've got all kinds of friends having birthdays. Oh, and John Schneider, the Dukes of Hazzard. John Schneider, if I can say it, Dukes of Hazzard. His birthday is today as well. Podbean, if you're out there, I think everything's up. I don't know. It's acted up the last couple of days. I'm not sure why, but it's not letting me post into the site. So if you come in and I don't say anything, that's why. I had to reboot everything last night. I'm on the backup internet. I got to find out what's going on with the frontline internet. It's weird stuff this last few days. Probably Russian interference, right? I don't know. Just the way it goes, I guess. But if it's your birthday today out there, happy birthday to you. Well, the Supreme Court is backing President Trump on another matter. They are backing him on the deportation under the Alien Enemies Act. This will absolutely make the liberals' heads explode. They thought they had him on this one. Oh, you can't use that old thing. They've allowed him to do it. It's an old one, 1798 law, that historically has only been employed during wartime. Well, some would say we're in a war. I know we're not in a declared war, though. To swiftly deport alleged, I like the word, alleged Venezuelan gang members as part of the Republican president's hardline approach to immigration. They backed him on it. They've also given him another victory as well. But they've granted him the administration request to lift Washington-based U.S. Judge James Boasberg's March 15th order. Been out there for a while, that had temporarily blocked the summary deportations under Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act while litigation in the case continues. So for now, he still has to do that. Still have to run him through the court in Texas, Michael says. Well, yeah, I mean, But they did give him a victory. They've also allowed a delay in the return of the Maryland man they said was not supposed to be deported. So, and a victory this morning, a victory this morning in that for the president, and the march continues. On a serious note, I got an email yesterday. I think anybody that had been involved with them, and Miss Melissa Blevins, the CEO of the Chattanooga Food Bank, was who's been on the program with us. I need to try to get her back. That was back before Christmas that we had her on. Anyway, she had to, I don't know, it was from her, but it came through another to me, that they are having a real hard time. A good 20% of their funding has been cut through some of the federal grants and other things that are going on. So this is not a political thing this morning. This is a eating thing. This is a food thing. And she was not being political either. But it is, with all the cuts that have happened, it has, whether intentional or not, can't say why, it has caused some disruption in their financing, their ability to buy food that feeds roughly 200,000 people in the counties that they serve. Don't fear, they are dedicated to continuing the work. They're looking for replacement funding while they navigate through this, but she said it is a fact. So don't have to go on somebody saying it might have happened, and then somebody jumping on your back and saying you're anti this or you're anti that. I don't have to be totally 100% for everything that's going on just because I am a conservative. And in this case, I would concur that they need to replace that or to restore that. We have listeners who use those services. And as I said, with the speed at which we are moving, we being the administration, I'm not actually a part of it, but as having been a supporter and still a supporter of, with the speed at which they're moving, could have inadvertently, this was my fear, that there could be some unintended consequences. So 20% is quite a chunk of support. So let's remember that. And there's a lot of services that they provide. I have did tours at the Chattanooga Food Bank and also have volunteered with my company. So let's give, don't want to throw fear out there for people that use those services, but they wanted everybody to know that I think it had been talked about, and they thought they needed to get out ahead of it and say, I'm the CEO, this is what's happening. And she said, Miss Melissa Blevins, this is not political. We are not political. We're just trying to feed people. So let's pray for them and let's hope that gets restored. I just got that yesterday, I believe it was. Yes, I think that was yesterday. Anyway, that's concerning. And I had forwarded that to Rob, but he was sick and he didn't see it yet. But I want to go ahead and let you know if you've heard anything or it's true. And we're going to see if we can get Miss Melissa on and see kind of where that's at and can they get that restored and da. So the coffee is good this morning. And we're going to have our own coffee soon. We've been saying that we hope to. We're going to now. We're going to. Countdown has begun. We are, this week we'll be researching companies that we're going to filter through and who we're going to use to accomplish that. But the Southern Fried Coffee blends are soon to come. I'm hoping within in June. I'm hoping we can have agreements in place and get that going. I think we can start the operation by June, and it may be fully get it really rolling out by the end of the year. But we'll start. We will start. Promise. I promise. A Southern Fried Podcast. Promise. I can't wait. I love that. Michael, how you feeling today? Since he's in here, hope others are well. We appreciate you being here, and we will endeavor to persevere and move on. But we'll see where the markets go. The markets did take somewhat of a tumble, and there's a lot of nervous feelings out there about the markets. And it wasn't Kramer. It wasn't this is okay so far. Kramer, ready to just burn down the markets. Well, it wasn't that, but we'll see. So just riding this bumpy road out. We know about bumpy roads in the South. There's a lot of potholes, and sometimes you're riding along, and you got to watch where you take a sip of coffee, or it feels like you're on a bad roller coaster ride, like one of them old wooden coasters that just hit you really hard. And
slams you. You know, that's the way it feels sometimes on the roads. Well, we're on a bumpy ride. Bumps in the road. Bumps in the road. Got those bumps too. Got potholes and bumps. You know, so there used to be a road around here. I'm not going to name it. I might offend somebody, but it was really rough. And I remember when my wife was pregnant with I think it was our oldest son, and I had to be really careful coming down that road. But one day I was just cruising along. You know, we're just it's wild. My wife says, "You better get off this road, or I'm going to be having a baby right here." She was getting nearer the time. We might have even been to the doctor. I'm not really sure, but it was a bumpy ride. Fox News is reporting that Kamala had kept a secret list of Republican judges to call up in the event Biden died in office. Oh, death pool rooster. Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, it was, you know, that could happen. I mean, it could happen for anybody. Anybody can die. Of course, his health is precarious. And we'll see. There's talk that President Trump wants to have a military parade for his birthday. Kind of gotten away from that. Of course, the liberals will have names will be called him for that. I like a good military parade. You know, the world, every country does them. I mean, to some extent. Nothing wrong with that. A little patriotism, roll the troops down, let people cheer them on. These are people have given their life or are currently giving their life, you know, whether it's a veterans parade or whether it's, you know, one of the holidays or it's, you know, current military. I remember in the war between the states, what was the cavalry general? He used to love him a parade. He'd line that cavalry up and, he'd have parades often. He enjoyed that. Of course, I think he was really like to, you know, play up to the ladies. And but he'd have him a parade. There sure was. So their tradition goes way back. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if George Washington had. I don't know if George Washington. Oh, it's Flag Day. Is his birthday, Michael? I don't know if George Washington had military reviews. I don't remember reading that. He probably did, or he may. I don't know, but it goes way back. So nothing, no big, you know, no nothing new going on. So it ain't like he's, you know, people are going to say we don't do this in the nation. Yes, we do, and we have. Trump says he's going to continue kicking the thugs out of the country. You know, he says that because, you know what? That's what they are. And two is he knows that word, that thug word, just makes the left so mad. Oh, the poor people. We're kicking them out. So, yeah, he's ready to kick butt, take names and kick butt and get them out of here. And I can tell you most of the country is for it. The numbers don't lie. So the hands-off crowd, the protesters, they'll have to have another protest now. They'll be protesting the Supreme Court now. And we'll see. It could be reversed, I guess, but it's Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, said today's a bad day to be a terrorist in the United States of America. Here. Yes. Let's go. Let's get them out. Nobody wants them here. We cannot have these people in our midst. They're no good for us, and they've hurt us. They've hurt our people. People have died. People have been raped, robbed, beaten. You name it, it's happened. This is America. Let's get rid of them. We don't need them here. And anybody that has some right to stay, let's ship them to American soil, Gitmo, and leave them there. I have no problem with that. Or that may be another good reason to have Greenland. We just put us a prison in Greenland, far, right by the military base. We could keep a good eye on them in case anything happened, any uprising. We got the military right there, and it's so cold they're not going to want to uprise much. You know, they're going to want to stay in the warm confines of the nice, secure jail that we have for them, because to get out of there, especially in the winter months, which is most of the time, You're not going to want to be busting out. And where are you going to go? It's not like you could run away. So I think it's a good idea. Alaska, if we have to do it, you just have to do it in one of the 50 states. Alaska. I say Hawaii, but that's paradise. We're not sending them to paradise. There's some good cold places up in Alaska. It's dark a lot of the time, months at a time. We'll send them there. And once again, if you bust out and go, probably not making it. You're probably not making it on your own. So it's a good deterrent to stay right there in the jail. And hey, they put themselves there. I noticed locally, this was a case that went back February. Pretty quick decision. I mean, you think about it. I think it was February till now. A lady went in on two senior citizens with a pair of hedge clippers and something else and was threatening them, charging them, wanting their keys. These ladies were good. But I like these ladies. They threw the keys behind her on the front porch. She turned to get them. They just shoved her out and locked the door. And this other senior called the cops. They found her wandering around the neighborhood. Well, she just got 30 years, 16 of which has to be served behind bars. See ya. Don't be busting in on our people. You go, seniors. I like that tag team right there. Throw the keys, shove out, lock the door, call the law. You go. Don't be coming in on our senior ladies like that. Another local case, Michael, you probably heard of this. Rick Davis, the FBI, that came in on him last week, a local merchant, or was Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. They're liquidating his shop. Apparently he owes a lot of people some money, and they're going to have a sale. And they're selling it all. I don't know if this includes the home. That's right, Michael. Old people can't run. Most of them don't go. Now, there are some old people who can. So, with all apologies to you seniors who can really run and still get it, a lot of seniors can't. But be prepared for a fight. Got that right. Jacklegs come in on our seniors like that. Can you imagine somebody coming through your door with hedge, some sort of knives, meat cleavers, hedge clippers, whatever. You're just sitting there, knitting, crocheting, watching, I don't know, Jeopardy or something. Next thing you know, you got some crazy person, probably on drugs. I don't know the whole story, but I know they got 30 years. My gosh. But kudos to these ladies. They take care of that mess. Let's not be letting people. I've always been one of those people. There's no doubt in my mind. The TV shows, you know how they do? People come in. They say, we're going to take a ride. Not me. I'm not doing it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen right here and now. I may go down, but you're not taking me some deserted place and making it. I'm not making it easy for you to dispose of me. I'm a big boy. If you're going to dispose of me, you're going to have to pick me up and move me. But I'm not walking there. I'm not doing it. I know that about me. Not going to do it. I don't care. People say, well, you had a gun. I've had a gun in my face. Not a fun thing. I've had it. I was about 16, 17 years old, or maybe I was even a little older than that. Not much older, but no more than 18. Gun in my face. No, it's not fun. But I just prepared for the worst. But I ain't going to the deserted place. I'm not loading up in the car and driving out to the landfill area or the place they're getting ready to build a bunch of buildings, and they've got ditches built and then cover you up. I'm not. That's not me. I'm not doing it. I'm not going. You're not loading me up. Hello, Fax Porcupine. I hope everything's good on the Podbean side. I hope it's coming through. She was acting up this morning. She was cantankerous. It's not letting me text within the site. So I rebooted everything. It was weird. Weird stuff going on. Weird stuff. Don't like that weird stuff. But yeah, I'm fighting. I'm older and I'm fighting. She's lucky they didn't have something else. I mean, they had game. I mean, throwing the keys. That's pretty slick. Throwing the keys over her head out the door on the porch. Here you go. That's like a TV show, like shove them in the closet or something. But she said she turned to get the keys. The two seniors shoved her out the door, locked the door,
called the law. They found her running around the neighborhood. I don't know why she didn't take the car. Probably disoriented, drugged out. Way to go. I love that. Didn't lose their cool. They were probably mad that she interrupted something. They're watching their game show or something, or they were doing crosswords or something. You don't mess with people playing Scrabble, something. It's your turn. Who's this? Okay, here you go. Get out of here. I love it. We need people like that involved in deporting folks. We don't need bad people around. You know what? They've tied, people have tied some issues together. And I don't care if you're legal, illegal, whatever you are. We don't need bad people on the streets. Now, this recommission of crime by the same people. It's the same people that go into jail generally. If you talk to people that are in jails, we definitely want programs to try to help those, and I know of some. If it's a drug issue, there are some successes, and we need to work toward that end. There are just bad people that are no good, and they can't be a part of society. And why in the jackleg would we recommit them out in the public, set them loose on an unsuspecting populace, which does not know that this is happening. They don't know this person. And some of them commit the crimes again within hours of release. Hours of release. There you go, Celtic Blacksmith. Never mess with Granny during Murder, She Wrote. You got that right. Granny take you out. I was I told this story a few times, but I was helping a preacher friend of mine at a seniors. It's still there. It's not a chain. It's one of those that's ran out of like a home, and it's been made into this. It's in the same city as actually the story I'm telling you about. And he asked me to come help him, and I was leading singing. They had upstairs and downstairs, and we were meeting in this upstairs room, and people come who want to come. Anyway, I'm singing along, and we got to the end of singing and everything, and before my partner, before he shared from the Word of God, this lady comes out. They were having a little, it was like Kool-Aid and cookie time or something, and they came up, and this lady just lit into me. Just chewed me out and said that I was making so much racket she couldn't hear the Braves, the Atlanta Braves on. She was mad. And it was my first time there. I don't know who these are. I don't know what I'm dealing with. And I look over, and my partner he's about to die laughing. And he's got his head down. He's just, one of those belly laughs. While not being loud, he's trying to hold it in. And I don't know, I was like, what in the world is going on? And she accused me of beating on the floor so loud. And I thought, I said, well, we just sung some songs. I didn't remember beating on the floor or anything. She goes, and I know, and I can't hear my ball game. Dale Murphy's up to bat or whoever it was. And you need to stop it. She just stormed off. And I'm looking at her. I said, what? And he's laughing. He goes, it was me. So while we were singing, I was tapping the floor with my cowboy boot. I said, oh, you were the one that was supposed to get chewed out. I said, Grandma's mad at me now. Way to go, bub. He's never forgotten that. He always laughs about it. Remember that time, Dave, when the lady chewed you out for what I did? He just thinks that's the funniest thing. You don't mess with Granny. Oh, one of the things that the president has or should do and does, and some presidents you hear about it, some you don't, is the visit to Walter Reed Hospital with the veterans who've been wounded. And I will say this is that, some probably do that a little better than others. But I do remember hearing this from Dana Perino, I think it was, who went with President George W. Bush. And no matter what you think of him as a president, doesn't matter to me at this point. I do give him a lot of credit for how he treated the people and the families. And she said that
they would go visit, and he would go room to room. And some of those rooms, he knew he was going to get blasted. People that were angry that their son or daughter was injured, and they would curse, they would, holler. It was very emotional. And she said he never avoided any room, and he just stood there and he took it as the commander in chief. He offered words of comfort if they wanted it. Would pray with folks that wanted to pray with him in the room for their loved one. He would, but if they just screamed at him, he would just say, "I'm very sorry," and he did that with a level of dignity which I highly respect. And yes, whether you like that, presidents when they do send people into military action, and by the way, we may be in that way very soon. Who knows? Because the world is a topsy-turvy place right now. There's a lot going on. We could have boots on the ground anywhere at any moment. There's just that possibility. I think the president's trying to keep us out of those things. And it's been a while, except for obviously special forces type stuff, CIA stuff that's always going on that you don't hear about. We don't have full infantry boots on the ground kind of thing going on, but that could happen any time. And when you have boots on the ground, you're going to have dead soldiers coming back, and you're going to have injured soldiers. That's what happens. The flag draped coffins and the injured. And presidents should visit Walter Reed, and they should not take the cameras. It should be a time not to try to gain some sort of get the film footage to put on their campaign trail. That should be a time between a commander-in-chief, a president, and those he sent into, he or she, if we eventually have a female president, he or she has sent into the battle line, and to face those families as their loved one is laying there, probably without limbs and or maybe altered, damage for life beyond sometimes repair. Need to face that, and that's the hardest duty for a president to face. And I don't care which side of the aisle it is to face, to go in and do that with dignity for those families. It's a must. And it's just, I appreciate those hearing that. He never allowed, I don't think that he did. And they didn't take cameras in tow, and they did. But she said it was amazing to watch him, which was not an easy task to sit there and face it, but he knew it was his duty. And he did it. And whether that was Biden, Clinton, Obama, George H.W., whoever, presidents, they've got to do that. You've got to go in and you've got to face these families. And, that you've sent them into battle. And obviously they can't go to every single one. It's representative of all those who are injured coming back and or passed. They can't do that every ceremony, but as a symbolic gesture to those who they can, they need to take the time to do that. And I applaud the presidents for doing that service. And if you're going to ask them to go, you got to be ready to do that. That's not easy. So it reminds me of that. You're going to get sometimes people are not happy to see you on many levels. I mean, I've been to funerals where people were mad at me about something, and it was difficult, but you walk in. Could be family issues. I remember one time, and I've said this before, I went in and somebody on, I won't name them, but somebody on the other side, they were angry with me. And it was just ongoing. You know how it is when there's breakups and kids involved and stuff like that. It's not the easiest thing to go face. And my wife says, "Are we going?" I said, "We're absolutely going." And she said, "Do you think we'll be welcome?" I said, "I don't have a clue." I said, "My guess is that they won't throw us out, but it might be a little tense." I said, "But if they do, they do." And she says, "Well, why do you go if you think they don't want you there?" I said, "Because there's a couple of people that's going to be there that absolutely expects it and will be disappointed if I don't. And I don't want to live with that I don't want them to have to be stuck with that memory that I didn't go, and I don't want to have to answer for it." I said, "I'm going for them. Others may hate me, but I'm going for them. And we did, and most people received us well. There was those who gave us the evil eye. They were angry. They were a lot of hate. But we did it. And actually, it actually turned out really good for us. It actually helped later on that we did do that. But I went there on a mission, and it was not the easiest thing to walk in. I have walked into funeral homes if they had known who I was, because they would probably ask me to leave because I was people. They didn't like my sons. They were angry at them. Things happen. Things happen when people die. Just the crazy stuff happens. And but I just went in incognito, paid my respects for them because they were told to stay away. They didn't know who I was, so I just walked in, paid respects for all of us. And I had other people that were with me that really wanted to go, and so I led them in. Not an easy thing. You think the knives are coming out. It's not on the level of the president. I'm not even closely even suggesting that. I'm just saying that that's, it's, and you got to face sometimes things in your life that are not the easiest things to face. And you just do it. I mean, you just got to do it. You just got to face it and walk through that fire. So anyway, I hope that we're not in war anytime soon. I was reading some things last night. There is a person who covers China a lot out there in the world, and he put it at 80%, 80% from himself that China would invade Taiwan soon. That's a real high percentage. It's a person that covers China a lot. That does not mean it's guaranteed to happen, but definitely. Spartan, you're absolutely right. You have to be very careful. That I'm glad I'm in America. It says in Mexico and the Middle East, you have deadly attacks during funerals. You do. Well, you can hear. Now, let me be fair. At some funerals, gang violence can occur. So there has been that in America. Traditionally, though, you don't see that. But you still go. I mean, you take that risk, I guess. But you're right. You're right. That's a great point. Absolutely. You could have that. I remember when I went to Mexico and I was standing in Mexico City and I was looking at the newsstand. They had the traditional newsstand with the newspapers there. Has some boxes, but they had the roadside selling of papers as well. This is 2017. It's not ancient. Rob would say, oh, you mean back in the 40s? No, this was 2017. And on the front page of the newspaper was a very graphic, bloody scene of bloody, blood and bodies and of dead, and it was gangs, or cartels, I should say cartels, and a response to their enemies or whoever, and that's the message. They cover it there. They don't clean up the news. They just throw it out there, and it was there. It was, it was graphic. I mean, it kind of shielded some of the kids. They were sort of shielding their eyes as they went by because it was right there, full battle rattle for you to see what the violence. But you got to be careful going to funerals. I think a lot of times what I've seen is someone dies and it's, maybe a girlfriend or boyfriend or something, and they're upset with the way, because it could be drug related that they died from drugs or something, and obviously they're blaming the other person for those drugs. Kim's Coffee Talk. Good morning to you. I'm sorry I missed that. I was looking around at different streams, but I hope you're doing well. I'm going to catch your show this morning if you're still there. What time do you come on? I'm going to try to catch that this morning while I'm doing work at my desk when I go to work. But Kim's Coffee Talk on the Rumble side, give her a follow. She's awesome. Georgia, yes. Appreciate her so very much. And Killer Carl and Half Pine Forge. Don't forget Stevie Boy. That's what Uncle Jeb calls him, Stevie Boy. Well, by the way, we have a new top 10 list from Uncle Jeb. It's coming out for Miss Elizabeth. I was hoping to see that debuted last night, but it'll be Thursday night probably for Cornbread Nation show. The top 10 for
the lovelorn teacher. Oh, he gave a list. Got some song titles. Interesting. And there just might be a couple of songs ready to roll. Might be. We'll see. Uncle Jeb on the march. Jeb and Bubba show is to debut. We got to finish up recording for that tonight, this evening. Get that probably out by Thursday as well. Did I hear about mass graves behind a prison in Mississippi? Last year's story I just learned about. Oh man, I think I might have, in my back recesses of my mind, might have heard something about that. Not sure though, but I will definitely go back and refresh my memory. But not surprising. I mean, it sounds like it. What was the movie way back in the 70s with who was the star in that? And Robert Redford. What was the name of that one where they told him not to? Okay, thanks for giving me that. Not to look because you might find something you don't want. He was the warden, and they definitely started finding bodies. And of course, the politics of it got him fired, but he just felt like it was the right thing to do. And so yeah, I'm very up on Polish and American news, and I have not heard about this story. Spartan says so, and I'll check about it. And this horrible story you've been mentioning about with the two young people, yeah, it's just horrible. Apparently, the guy was going in some of the what do you call them, the not tents, but the awning, not awning. What is the word I'm looking for? Anyway, they people's personal belongings, and when was confronted, then he stabbed the boy. Very, very, very bad story that was out there, and so yeah, there's a lot of money been raised for the offender, and it's just one of those nasty stories. I get it. It's got different aspects to it. It's got a racial aspect. It's just one of those. It's one of those that gets the press. Works the divide, and but yeah. Yes, Spartan. They definitely kill stories. They definitely kill some stories. They bury it. That's called, they put it on the back page, so to speak, of even newspapers and stuff, or just totally omit it. And it goes deeper than that. You can do even internet searches, and I don't know about right now, but back, before, I'm not going to say the names of them, but the search engines, and I'm sure it still goes on. And I've had this happen where I was trying to look up a story and could not find anything on it. And I would switch search engines and find the news I was looking for. They definitely tried to kill the search ability to search the story out. This happens a lot, and is why I get so mad. I mean, and it's there. What kills me is you go read a story and you tell somebody about it, and they go, "Hey, I'd like to read that. Could you send me the link?" And you go back to get the link, and it's gone. They just erase it. Usually, if you search enough, you can find it. You go enough ways, and you hit enough search engines. You got some out there that's a little not manipulated to that level, and you could find the story. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, to kill the stories like that. News is news. History is history. Just throw it out there. It's ugly. There's ugly aspects to it. It's going to make some people look bad. It's going to, there's stories that are not in the best light for a lot of people that we like. I mean, we could even be supporters of people, but there's stories out there on them. Most people in politics have some skeletons. I mean, let's face it. They may not be really bad, or it could be. And they do their best to try to cover those things up. That's sad. Just let the people make the choice. I mean, I know there's a lot of power and money at stake, and they don't want you to, to get, to be able to see those things. Afraid it's going to cost them some votes, but that's unfortunate for a populace which needs to hear the story. Steve says it's almost a requirement for public office positions. Yeah. And true, Spartan. I've seen this before. They do run a lot of fronts on some stuff like that.
And, there's going back because there's, it's full on. We can say the flip side of that before, on some things. So we've had if you go way back, even with the war between the states, and you look at some of the writing of the Harper's, press and all that, they were lying and stuff to cover up the losses on the battlefield. They were not telling the people how bad the war was going for the Union at one point early in the war, the massive losses that were they were covering that stuff up, and they would wait for a big victory, and then they would sort of, talk about it. But they didn't like what was the movie, The Gangs of New York or whatever it was called. Anyway, where the people were revolting about the war and they didn't want their kids going to war. That was very violent in Maryland, Baltimore. There was a lot of street uprisings. People were rising up against the war, and the press definitely was squelching that story. They were pushing it down as hard as they could because it was going really bad. I mean, President Lincoln had written, I think it was the Gettysburg Address, which is not an effective speech because he didn't have the legal authority to do what he did in there, but that's a whole nother story. At the time, he didn't, because he didn't have authority over that area. But he had written that weeks ahead, or had it written weeks ahead, maybe even a few months ahead. But they couldn't get a victory. They couldn't get the kind of victory they were looking for him to do that. So in that way, that's another type of manipulation, I guess. I'll put it up, Spartan. It's some harsh, but it's heavy-handed. I know that because they were after the terrorists, and there's a lot of buildings came down, and nobody knows the number. Nobody knows the number. So nobody knows the number. Just like nobody knows the full number of how many children were taken out of Ukraine and taken into Russia. There's a guess, at least 20,000, but I've heard it could be hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But where are these kids at? There's organizations looking for them. So it's hard to get data sometimes. It's hard to get numbers on stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know it. Things like that. But yeah, the press lied to us. Sometimes the weatherman lies to us, right? It's going to rain all day and it don't rain. Or you're going to have a sunshiny day, or it's going to be pretty. It snows. So sometimes the weather person, man or woman, they lie to us. They tell us you're not going to go to school, kids. It's going to be a bad day tomorrow. You get up in the morning, it's all clear, and you got to go to school. And you don't tell me you haven't criticized that weather person about their lying to you. And that's what you said. They lied. They lied. Now, weather people tell you it's hard. With the best models we have, we still don't know everything. It's hard for them to admit that. But how many times you have said that weather person, boy, they lied to me, as you're wiping scraping the ice off your windshield, or you're walking in the water, they got your umbrella up, or you forgot your umbrella. I don't use umbrellas. We were talking about this at church. My wife, they got one for her. She usually carries one. It was a pretty good downpour on Sunday around here. And I said, I don't use an umbrella. I just let it rain and let it just weather can't be predicted perfectly. I'm not making come on, Spartan. I'm not making an analogy. I'm just making a joke. Well, I get it, but come on, I'm just making a joke, I get it. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to lower that there. I'm just making a joke. So it's in the morning. I can't be all serious. Come on. Well, they do keep their job whether they're right or wrong. It's cool. I get it. I'm not trying to make light of that. I'm not, Spartan. I'm not making light of that whatsoever. I'm just, it's the morning time. I don't keep some humor in it. People are going to sleep. They don't want to go to work. Who wants to go to work? Steve's out there headed to work. Got his new starter on. Now, did you get your transmission fixed, Steve? I forgot to ask you that. You said this transmission was slipping.
And yes, you are absolutely correct. The media is filled with lies because people that own most of the media are evil. Hear, hear. Salute. Absolutely. I get it. Yeah, they are. They're playing evil games with the people. Absolutely. And so we see that. No, borrowing the nephew's van for the day. I'm sorry. That's hard to get fixed. Transmission is not an easy thing. That's not like pulling in and getting a starter changed or a alternator or power steering pump or something like that. Rob talks about this all the time. Yeah, it should be criminal to lie about the facts. Yeah, fuzzy math, fuzzy news. I agree. About any big story, there's been false reporting on this both ways. False reporting. So, and whether we like it or not, there has been some people to pay for that. I don't think it was right to the level, but Alex Jones has suffered greatly because of his early reporting on the school shooting. So he was put on trial, and unfortunately, these fat cats will never be put on trial, but he was, and he suffered greatly. I mean, to the loss of. I mean, they're still there, but I don't think he can own it because the judgment against him, he will lose the things he has. I know they were under. I don't know where that stands. I watch him every once in a while, and I like watching him. But but yeah, he was convicted of that. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But it is true. So Steve, you get to drive the van, a little different truck. At least it's not the minivan, unless it is a minivan. Well, it could be Spartan. I don't know. He says he don't trust Alex Jones. The trial seemed like a weird thing. Verdict seemed like another big show. But I will say, everything I've seen is they are under. They have a person that's attached to the court who was there watching everything they do. As they get ready to liquidate their studios and stuff. And they were. He said he used to be very honest about Israel in the past, but not in recent times. I don't know on that. I mean, you watch him. I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know on that. So the AP used to be the worst about some things. They would manipulate a video or a picture, but usually pictures. Get the right angle on a picture, you can make it seem like things are happening that are not. And today, my goodness, if they can do it and get away with it, it's so easy to alter a picture, Photoshop. And there's been that too. I mean, we've been lied to about a lot of stuff, about a lot of stuff about through the altering of audio recordings. That was pretty famous. What was it back in the shooting years ago? That it was a lot of really divided the nation, and one of the legacy medias altered the audio and spliced it together to make it sound like the guy said something he didn't. Horrible. Dan Rather, the story, the paper about the service, the Air National Guard, and that story, and got him in trouble. So, just report the news. I mean, find your data and report it. Yeah, that's true. Spartan AI can be very scary. You can fake any voice and video. It's a world we live in, that's for sure. Manipulating images and stuff. A lot of people today, what you read is they'll say, "Is this real?" I hear that. I see that a lot because most people figure like that a lot of things are not real. You're right.
To a degree, and I can tell you that there's a lot of scamming going on right now um, about stuff like that. But you have to be very careful about those things. I don't know on the sound of voice. I'm sure it's there. About anything can be done nowadays with technology for the good or the bad. Just about, just about. So great discussion this morning. Got some lighthearted stuff in. Got some heavy stuff. Oh, it is the minivan. Oh, Steve, soccer mom. I'm just kidding. Hey, I like a good minivan. The first one I had, I just didn't like mine. Was just not good. Yeah, Spartan, you got to find the right programs because some of them don't deliver in the way that they say they will. But I had an Aerostar, Ford Aerostar, great vehicle, but the air conditioning, I replaced everything on it, and when it kept losing Freon, and I finally sold it. It had another problem come up too, but I remember spending $1,200, and we took a trip to Memphis, and we were kind of hot most of the trip. Not hot. It worked just a little bit. It was middle of summer. We went out to Memphis and did some tourist things, and I was so mad. But it was a great driving minivan. Now they got those auto doors on both sides and all that. Tell me they ain't liking that. Kids can jump in and out. You just pull up like a cabbie, load up, unload. You see it at the school all the time. Doors open on both sides, kids jumping out, going in the schoolhouse. That's pretty cool. Because I'm driving a truck. They just do it with the truck, doors open on both sides. Don't need no stinking minivan. What was the movie? Celtic says, I don't mind minivans, actually. That was my first car. First car I drove on the road anyway, and I loved it. 1998 Windstar with a 3.7 liter V6. Nice. It's a nice ride. Absolutely. Remember the movie Get Shorty? And John Travolta's character, he wants what do he want? A limo or something? I don't know. A Cadillac. What is Cadillac or something? I don't know. He's a mob guy. They gave the minivan. He's like, "What's this?" And they say, "Oh, it's the Cadillac of minivans." And so they go and meet the actor dude, and he's like, "Is this yours?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He's acting like he's all cool with it now. Oh, it's the Cadillac of minivans. Hey, take it for a spin. Oh, they had a stigma for a long time, but actually SUVs and minivans and trucks rule the world. They really do. That's one of the biggest sellers. Because you got options. You can lay the seats down and use it for storage. You can have them up and carry a bunch of folk. And like I said, it's ease of access. You're not crawling across people trying to get in and out. You can just get out. Yeah, they are useful. They really are. And there's so many uses for them, and they have a great ride. They have a lot of features nowadays. In fact, back seat movies and stuff that you can play on them that comes with those options. Their own air environmental controls in the back, and like I said, you can use them in multiple ways. So they are useful. So I don't mind them either. I drove one for a long time. My kids loved it. They loved the fact it was the first time when they just loved it. They claimed their own seats. I had two boys. One claimed one claimed the other. And they just like to lay down. This is my seat. I said, yeah. I got to go to work too. Steve, you have a great day out there, Spartan. Spartan says, I wish they made more simplistic cars for cheap. Well, that's a good point. I don't want simplistic as in Fred Flintstone, but not that simple. But yeah. What about the little smart cars running around? They look like the size of a postage stamp. I see ladies running around with those. They're very fuel efficient, but man, I worry about them in a wreck. It doesn't look right. It reminds me of almost of something that the Shriners would drive. If it hopped up and down when it had a big hat on, that's what it would look like to me. But I see those all the time. What are those, 3 cylinders? I don't know. There ain't much of an engine there, but they seem like they get it. I was behind one lady and she was flying. Steve says, cough, cough, Toyota Hilux.
Spartan, I would love to buy a new version of the 92 to 94 Civic. Better engine, a few upgrades, but keep it very simple. That was a good year for them. Absolutely. Yeah, something that's good on gas, something that's comfortable ride, got some options. Some smaller cars can be very roomy on the inside. They don't look like it from the outside, but once you get into it, you're like, you got a lot of headroom, leg room. That's the biggest thing for me is I have long legs, and I like it to be a little wider because I'm a little wider. I don't like this. Yeah, Hilux, not deluxe. Steve, did I say deluxe? I meant to say Hilux if I said. Oh, let's go take some kids to school. I hate it. We'll be back on tonight. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what we can do. And small, low to the ground, handles better at high speed compared to some cheap sports cars. Yeah. Okay. Got you. I like it. We need an Autobahn here. What about it? Don't we need an Autobahn in America? We got enough spaces out west. No speed limit. I'm down with it. Let's do it. Autobahn. We wouldn't call it the Autobahn, though. We'd call it something else. We need to think about what would we call the American version of the Autobahn and where would we put it? I mean, obviously, it's got to be across parts of Texas, New Mexico, somewhere out there like that where there's a lot of open space, flat. You can just fly. That would be great. You and Steve, no speed limit, just go. Mark said, I've said same thing many times, Autobahn. Yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Campaign for it. No electric vehicles allowed. Steve says, I don't do clown cars anymore. I hate folding myself into a tiny Corolla or Civic. The getting down is the hard part and getting up. Once I'm in, I'm okay. It's just with my knees, it's hard to get in and out. I have to grab and push and hold, and it don't get any easier either. So, hey, y'all have a great day out there. Let's get out of here. I got to go. Kids are going to be screaming at me. Where you at? Let's go. So we'll see you tonight. Great discussion, great talk. Thank Kim's Coffee Talk. She's probably moved on. Appreciate you. Anybody else out there we didn't recognize or we didn't know you were there. Facts Porcupine on the Podbean side. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day. And we'll get out in this cool weather, get some more coffee, and get going. So appreciate your support, and y'all are a lot of fun. So let's get it.